Hey everybody, my name is Jeff Koss. I'm a student at the University of Advancing Technology. This is a presentation for my computer science class, CSC 215. My instructor is Professor Hinton, and this is my final project. Before I begin, I do want to apologize to you guys. I should be wearing a suit today, but I'm not. And the reason why is due to COVID. I gained like 45 pounds. I can't fit in any of my suits right now, so I do apologize for that, but nonetheless, I want to give this presentation anyway. So, without further ado, here it is. And my presentation is for an RPG as a role-playing game called Player's Quest. And I modeled this game after some classics like Zork, which is a very, very favorite game of mine back in the day. I used to play a lot of that, and obviously you can see I'm old school. The goal of this game, for me in the end, is I would really like to take this game and really make something out of it, like add a lot of stuff to it and make it into what they call a MUD, or MED, also known as a multi-user dungeon. What that is kind of like World of Warcraft before graphics. So I'm looking for maybe some classes to teach me on how to do that on the side. So if you know of anything, let me know, because that's kind of a goal while I'm here. So anyway, this game is called Player's Quest, and right off the bat, it gives you, once you run the game, it gives you a start menu here, and you can read directions, start the game, or quit. Now this is a class. This was a class called main menu, and it's got an instance called player. I'll get into that after, but let's play the game and see how it goes. So the first thing that we're going to do is read the directions. You input your choice, and here basically it tells you a little bit about the game. You know, it says that you're an adventurer. You're hired by an adventurers guild. The goal of the game is to explore a dungeon and to retrieve some treasures. There's 5 treasures in this game that you can get. And depending on your stats, it's going to determine whether it's a good treasure or a not so good treasure. But we'll get into that later. So how the game works is it's going to present you with some text that you got to read, and then it's going to give you some choices. And you input those choices by looking at the letter that's in the parentheses and using that. So if you want to go north, you type in N, for example. If you want to attack, you type in A. So in the game, it tells you that you're going to roll a character, just like your old school Dungeons and Dragons games, and you're going to, give them a name and stuff like that. You have a character sheet, all of the great stuff that comes with an RPG. So once you read the directions, you press the key and it takes you right back to the main menu. Now, it'll do that as long as you don't hit quit. If you hit quit, the game will end. Now, you can actually quit pretty much anywhere in this game. So I designed it that way. So if you get bored, you can quit. Let's start the game. So starting the game, it's going to run a couple of things behind in the background. It's basically setting up to go into another class. Is what's happening right now. So it tells you that a portal opens and you enter. And now you're in your character creation screen. Now this is another class. The character creation class is a separate class from the main menu class. I designed it that way. And like every good RPG game, you get to name your character. So I'm going to go with the name Hamilton. He's kind of like a wizard, okay? So just roll with me. So once we input the name, it acknowledges your name. It says, "So be it, Hamilton, your name is stored in the Book of Souls located at," what's this? That's some kind of address there. All right, so what that is, I wanted to demonstrate pointers, and that's how I did it. I had a pointer that got the address of the player's name, and this is how I call it. So now you know that your character's name is in the Book of Souls as this address right here. So now what's happening is once we press this key, any key, there's a couple of things going on in the background that you're not going to see. I have a bunch of stats, just like in Dungeons and Dragons, and each stat comes from its own function that rolls a random number. Okay, so it's a random character generation system, and it's pretty neat. It does it all in the background, and then when you press space, it generates a character sheet. So you have your name, your score, your health. Now these are all generated, okay? Your strength, your intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, those are all pre-generated, all right? Looking at this, these scores aren't all that great. So what we're going to do is we're going to re-roll the character. I don't want to keep this character, so it gives us an option to re-roll it. So we'll have to rename them. We'll keep the same name. And again, here's your address. So, boom. So I like these scores a little better. So, I mean, he's pretty strong. He isn't so smart. I guess that's not good for a wizard. He's not very wise. He's not very fast. He's pretty healthy, though. Actually, he's above average and healthy, and he's okay looking. We're going to keep him. So here's what happens now. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to jump into a class that is a game world. And this game world is populated by rooms. So it's setting everything up in the background, and once you press your key, you're teleported to the Adventurers Guild. Now every room has a set of text that you can read. It's going to give you a description, and it's going to point out some things that you can do. So here's where you can do things. So in this particular room, we can go see the guild master, or we can go outside. At any time, you can also check your character sheet or quit. So we'll check our character sheet, and sure enough, there it is. So first thing we want to do is let's go talk to the guild master. Let's see what's going on. So we're going to go in there. Now we're in the guild office. And basically he says, okay, you didn't find any treasures yet. Your score is 0, because he's going to tell you your score. He tells you that there's 5 treasures. Go back out there and get them, and then come back to me. The cool thing about this is this. The way I design this is if you pick up 1, 2, or 3 treasures, or whatever you want, you can come back here at any time and give them the treasures, and it'll update. There's an algorithm in here that's made by a set of if statements that says, you know, if you got this treasure, your score is going to be this. If this, you know, it just keeps on going down the line. It's pretty neat. I'll show you the code after. So anyway, with this one, in the office, as you can see, there's really nothing else to do. So when you press any key, it's going to kick you back out into the Adventurers Guild. Okay, so I guess we're just going to go outside. And now with this game, it's not linear, which means that if I want to go back, I can. If I want to go forward, I can. I have complete control of where I go in this game. So if I want to go back to the Adventurers Guild, bam, I'm there. If I want to go back outside, okay, I'm there. I can check my character sheet, and it brings me back right to the place that I was last at. And how I did that is pretty genius. Each room has a number. It's an integer. And when I hit the character sheet, it basically goes through a set of integers, and it looks for the one that your room is in. So if it's an outside shop and it's right, it's going to bring you right back to the outside shop. It's really neat. I'll show you how it works after. So we're going to go west. Well, now we're on a path, and there's a staircase going down. So we can go back, we go down, we'll go down. This gets to the dungeon entrance. Now we're at the dungeon entrance, and there's a bunch of stuff. There's actually 2 catwalks, an east and a west one, and we can go down. Well, I got a feeling there's going to be something at the western catwalk, so let's go there. Okay, I was right. Reading the text, it basically says that there's an old skeleton in the corner, and he's been stripped bare. Well, we all know that in an adventure game like this, if there's a skeleton sitting in the corner, it's guarding something. So we're going to search that skeleton. Okay, now what this did is it made a stat check on your charisma. So if your charisma is high, you're going to get the treasure, and mine was, so I found a diamond ring. If it's low, it's going to give you a piece of junk, but even junk is worth something in this game. So I found a diamond ring. That's awesome. So let's check our character sheet, and sure enough, we got a score update of 100. So that tells me that, you know, I found a treasure. Well, let's search that skeleton again. I'm kind of greedy. Okay, let's check it. Well, now it says you searched this area before. And the reason why is because inside of this, you're going to love this. So there's a set of statements that checks conditions. So it's going to say, if your charisma is this, and the bone treasure, which is the data member that it's checking for in this, is true, then I'm going to give you a treasure. And if your charisma is low and it's still true, I'm going to give you a piece of junk. But if that variable is flagged to false, which it will be after you take the treasure, it's going to say you've searched the area before. So it's a safeguard that you can't keep piling on points to do that. And I do this by passing references. So what I have is a data member for each of these dungeons that are booleans. And the treasures are basically booleans. So if you find one and you take it, it switches it to false. Pretty ingenious, and I will show you that as well. So let's go out. Now the rest of this dungeon is pretty easy. I made it that way because I just wanted it to be simple. So if we go down, you're in the crypt. Now the crypt is basically the middle of the dungeon. There's doors to the north, east, and west. And each of those is a treasure room. To the north is a wizard's tomb. To the west is a fighter's tomb. To the east is a cleric's tomb. But there's also a sarcophagus here. Well, if you look at the sarcophagus, you're going to fall into a secret chamber, and that's the thief's tomb. So now there's treasure all around in the thief's tomb because thieves have a lot of treasure. So let's search the treasure pile. I got an old worthless cloak. Okay, so my guy wasn't the most nimble guy out there. Because this is the thief's tomb, it's going to check your dexterity, and if your dexterity is high enough, it's going to give you a good treasure. If it's bad like mine, it gives you a bad treasure. But hey, all treasures are worth something, right? So I got a cloak. Maybe I'll wear that to my next interview. Maybe that'll work. Anyway, let's check the character sheet. Well, it still gave us a score because it was still a treasure. Okay. So obviously, again, we searched this area. So we'll just make this short. We'll go into this room. This is the wizard's room. Hey, wait, there's a sign here and it reads, Hamilton was here on this date. Well, that was the date I actually wrote the game. So that's amazing, isn't it? Now if we examine that sign, there's a treasure. Obviously I wasn't the smartest guy, so I got a book. Yay. Alright, so we'll go west. I kind of look like a tough guy, right? A little bit. So I'm going to be the fighter type. So let's check this rack. Oh man, I knew it. I got a good treasure, the sword and shield of truth. You can't do any better than that. So we got that. So let's go out. I want to show you something. So also, if you put in the wrong choice here, it's going to say, please make another choice. That's your else statement. They're in every single room, and it's going to pop you back to the beginning of the room. What I want to do is I want to show you one more thing. So we got 4 treasures, right? So let's go out. Let's go out of here. And let's go to the Adventurers Guild and talk to the Guild Master. Okay, so he says that you found 4 of the 5 treasures and your score is 400. There's 1 left. Come back when you find it and I'll tell you the score. So there's 1 left. Let's go get it. So let's go west. Down. Okay, we didn't go to the cleric's tomb. So there's an altar there. Let's check it. I got a worthless holy symbol. It's still a treasure though. So let's go out. Let's check. Scores 500. Okay. South, up, east, Adventurers Guild, Guildmaster. Now, he says you found all the treasures and your score is 500. There's 0 left, and you've won the game. That's great, so he kicks you out. Now, the only thing is, you can still go around, so I can go outside. You know, we can go do stuff all day long, you know. Oops. But really, there's nothing left, so we're going to quit. And it takes you to a function of quit, and then it quits, and you go out of the screen. Okay. So let's take a look at the code really fast. There is my code. Okay. So there's a couple things I want to show you. I'm going to try to make this brief. All right, our main menu, I'm sorry, let's go to the source file first. The source file is basically where your main function is at. So obviously we have all the bells and whistles of any good source file. We have our preprocessed directives. I do use a declaration using namespace standard because I was pressed for time, and typing that little std out every time is just going to be more of a hassle. So here's what happens. So we call we instantiate an instance of main menu, which is a class, and I call it menu. So that brings up the menu. Okay, so we have our main loop here. It's a do loop because I wanted it to run at least once, and it's going to run as long as the member function of play again for menu is equal to true. So what it does is displays the menu, and then that class takes over. Okay, so let's take a look at the main menu. So here's the main menu header file, and we have main menu. This is the class, and in that class we have a bunch of public data members and member functions. Well, right now we got one data member, which is a boolean and false, and then we have 4 member functions. One of them is a boolean that's going to determine whether we are going to keep playing or not. I didn't put anything in private, and I found out, just to be honest with you, none of my classes have anything in private right now. It just wound up that way. I really didn't need to make them private, for what I was doing. Okay, so here's the C++ file for that. Let's go up and I'll show you this. Here's your directives, your declarations. So I do instantiate a character class named player, and this is so we can get into the character itself. Okay, so here we go. So we have all this great stuff. So that character, it basically works with the main menu. That character class works with the main menu class to bring you all of this stuff, the directions and but what it really does is it's waiting for you to say start the game. Okay, and the reason why is because it's going to go here, this character header, which we have a class character. Now this is where the magic happens. So I have a bunch of variables that store game statistics, your name and all of your scores and your stats. And this is the integer that controls game room. Game room is an integer that tells you what room you're in. So if you have to go to another menu, it'll pop you back in there. Now this set of booleans are your treasures. There's 5 of them, and these are labeled accordingly for each of the treasures in the room. Here's a pointer that points to the address of your data member name, and that's how you get the address for the Book of Souls. This is a very important boolean, so I separated it. Quick game, I always think that's important. Now these are your rooms. Now you notice that some of these rooms, oops, I actually should have put that down there. I like my things in order, so I'm kind of not happy with that. But some of our rooms are booleans, and the reason why is because we're passing a reference through them, a boolean reference that is going to change the value of what it's referencing. So in this case, we're referencing bone treasure, which is data member bone treasure. So it's going to change it from true to false if you find it or not. That's how that works, and it works good. Here's your set of functions that control all of your stats. Now, all of your stats have a random number generator in it, and that's how that works. So we'll see the C++ file. So there's quit game, player role. So this is you're basically starting your character, and it's going to call a bunch of these to roll that, and then it's going to spit out your character sheet. And then you have a choice whether you want to keep it or not. So what I want to show you is this. Yeah, see, so in this character sheet, when you pull up your character sheet at any time, it's going to give you your stats. but then it checks just your integer of game room, and if your game room is a certain number, it's gonna call a function and put you right back into the room that you're in. I thought that was pretty smart. Okay, so we're going to game start right now. So this is a typical function in this game. So this is a room, and we give the room a name, we clear the screen, we give the room a title, and we give the room some description, and then we give the choices, and then there's a set of if statements after you make a choice that will put you where you need to go. So that works with all of these. Now, with the Guildmaster's office, there's a set of if statements that checks your score, because the way I did it is a certain score, each treasure's worth 100 points. So it increments, and it'll tell you different things, which I thought was pretty neat. And some of these places are just, for fun. There's not much to do, but it gives depth to the game, which I was trying to go for. And what I want to show you is here. We'll look at the West Catwalk. So this is where you're going to find your first clue, your first treasure. So this is what happens. So we pass a reference, our bone treasure. We say our bone treasure equals data member bone treasure. Okay. You get the room name. We put the descriptions. Now here's where the magic happens. So if we choose S, which is search the skeleton, if choice equals S and your reference to bone treasure equals 2 and your data member for charisma is less than 10 or equal to 10, or it's a capital S and basically the same stuff. So I make sure that, if a guy is going to press a capital or non-capital, this is how I do it right now. I am sure there are better ways, but this is the extent of my knowledge for now. So you'll find the ring. Your score is going to be implemented. It's going to flag your bone treasure as false. And then after a pause, it's going to kick you right back to the same room. However, this time you can't find any more treasure. If your treasure is less than 10, for this one you find an old worthless ring. If it's greater than 10, you found a diamond ring. So that's how that works. Now, if everything is false, you have searched this area before. There's your character sheet, a quick game, and if anything else, you press anything else, it says please make another choice. So that's how those work. And it works with all of the treasure rooms, just like I said. So that's the extent of it. That's my game. That's what I got done so far, and I'm really happy with it. I was going to be honest with you, I was going to put an inventory system in it where you can use an array or a vector and actually see your inventory and then put the things in a trophy case, but it was too time consuming. I do plan on doing that, and when I do, I'll let you know, and you can check it out then. But anyway, that's my game. And I just wanted to say, that I audited this class. I knew a little bit about C++ before I got here, but I was really rusty. I wanted to take your class because I knew that I was going to get something out of it. I know that every teacher that gets into this stuff, they have something to teach. There's always something to learn, and I was right. If I didn't take this class, I'd still be struggling with pointers and references, and I wouldn't have the grasp that I have in classes. It's because of you that I know this now. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I really do appreciate it. You're a great teacher. And I learned a lot from you, and I hope I have you again in another class. I really do. I enjoyed it, and it was well worth the money. Now I can program, and I think I'm not too bad at it. I can't wait to get my hands on some more of the advanced stuff. But like I said, I do really hope that I get you as a teacher again. I hope you enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to my grade. So I want you guys to have a wonderful day, and Professor Hinton, thank you very much, and I hope to see you guys soon. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.